Let's begin. Choose your clan, the Bruja, the rebel against power and rage against authority. A seemingly insignificant man with significant ideals will join the ranks tonight. The Ventrue, the aristocratic blue bloods embody wealth, sovereignty, and control. A top-level corporate executive will join the ranks tonight. Or the Toreador, the divas seek thrill of art, romance, and cruelty amid stagnant undead. A tormented artist will join the ranks tonight. As I said, said by the name of the title of the stream, I'm gonna play as a Ventrue named Carl. A very good name for a Ventrue, if I may add. No, not at all. He's fucking average. Accept. New York taught me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about fate back when I was human, I would have told you it's just superstition bullshit. That we are all designers of our own destinies. Okay, that belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not the face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing in right now, by the way. Fate? You decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. The food was amazing. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in my eye. That one you need. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. She was a 9th generation kindred just like you, an apex predator. She probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggart, whatever, and see them for all they are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate. A message saying, you're eternally doomed to be at the mercy of your sovereigns. It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me, just her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I've learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be a day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it is so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. So I guess that's the prince we're talking to. I understand you still have that meeting on 53rd Street later night, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get me wrong. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favor you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job well, and without attracting attention. Well, we're gonna see about it. You might think I'm crazy, asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think it's impossible to get away with it unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about other cities. But in this one, fate really exists. And right now, it's smiling in your favor. This is how it begins. Your phone rings. It's your boss. Again. The setting sun that filled your high-rise office an hour ago is gone. The city looks like an ocean of light from up here, spreading for miles to the north. You pick up. You're about to call it a day, forget about the world of fintech, and decompress at home. No dice. One of the investors want to meet you. His voice, as always, the perfect mix of oh, authority and sleaze. One of your investors wants to meet you. His voice, as always, the perfect mix of authority and sleaze. I still have to figure out what's sleaze. He'll come by your office in an hour. You look at the clock. An hour. He's got to be kidding me. Yeah, I know, but stick around. He's a heavyweight. You'll want to make a good impression. Fine. You grit your teeth a little. The boss hangs up. 2 hours. Might as well pour another coffee into yourself and figure out how to best use this to your advantage. So we're still kind. We're still human. Can I hide the HUD? Okay, this is the log of what happened. This has to be encyclopedia. Oh, a dictionary of words. Words are about to come up. H, G, no. There has to be a button that has the HUD. Either way. You suspect everyone knows that no, you're actually not happy with your current position. That in fact you feel squished against the glass ceiling that comes with the territory. Sure, your idiot superior might have gotten the job only because he's the CEO's golfing buddy. But you're going to put an unholy amount of work into your advancement. Times where you'd laugh off the idea of staying at the office until 9 p.m. You had a partner to go home to, the nightly Netflix and chill ritual to perform, complete with pizza or Chinese takeout. Ever since you moved up the ladder, though, your hours have only gotten longer. Life of corporate, am I right? That's why I don't want to climb it. Food, mostly at the company cafeteria, sometimes takeout, always in a rush. You praise the heavens for your crazy metabolism and dread the day it finally decides to give up. Rest? At this point, the cleaning lady who takes care of your apartment probably spends more time in your bedroom than you do. You flash back to your boss, quoting Shakespeare to impress his new, extremely attractive and uncomfortably young secretary. For some must watch while some must sleep. So runs the world away. Drinks? Mostly with colleagues, and they all pretty much hate you at this point. Another flashback, this time to the most profitable quarter in the company's history. Still, the board decided that layoffs were in order. Fucking relatable. Your boss didn't feel like letting people know in person, so he passed that privilege on to you. Gotta hand it to him, he always knew how to pick his battles. But maybe, just maybe, tonight is the night it's all going to change. You decide to play the good look angle. Nothing too slutty, you leave your blouse slightly unbuttoned. Check if your ass looks as good as you remember in your pencil skirt. Mirror says yes. Apparently I'm a chick. Oh well, I was gonna play one either way in Vampire the Masquerade, so yeah, might as well. It's not something you're proud of, but you've become too jaded to care. Knowing your luck, the investor is going to be one of two types. A self-obsessed mask wannabe in his 20s, or a fat old pervert drenched in cologne. You hear the elevator ding. Time to get this show on the road. You take one final look in the mirror and fix your hair as the footsteps echo across the empty hallway. The man who approaches your office is not what you expected. He's slick, to be sure, but he seems a bit more refined than your usual company man. Expensive suit, matching tie, matching tie and shirt, confident in his stride, surprisingly good looking. Define good looking. Good evening. I hope this unforeseen visit isn't too much of an inconvenience. God, that voice. You're taken aback by how smooth and strong it is, and his eyes, steel blue, cold, intense. He's all business, professional, treats you in a manner that's appropriate to your stature. When he speaks, he actually looks you in the eye and not at your cleavage. He asks some questions about your work, tells you how he noticed your input after talking to the CEO, another golfing buddy, and comes charmingly close to calling your boss an incompetent doofus. All the while, you try to guess his accent but can't quite place it. European? Sure, but where from? I know I've kept you long enough, but would you indulge me and join me for a drink? Of course. For a minute, it seemed like he wasn't that kind of guy. But what the hell, you go with it. He seems nice enough. Besides, it's not like you have other plans. Damn, this looks promo as shit. The investor has a limo waiting downstairs, and the driver takes you to a high-end restaurant in Williamsburg. A seat is waiting for you in the deluxe lounge. It's just the two of you. Fine, I need to check it. Okay, yeah, microphone works. Everything seems okay. You talk about this and that. Your company seems to have a knack for history. So tell me, what would you do if you had full control of the company? You almost choke on your wine. This is your chance. You say what's been on your mind for months, but hide it behind a veneer of professional corpo babble. Refocusing. Listen to your instincts for once. Restructuring. Kicking out your boss. Aggressively pursuing new markets. Getting the hell away from all these terrible people. He likes the sound of that. He leans forward, his eyes flash with intensity and something else. A strange emotion that wasn't there before. You'll do just fine. We've been dominated. His words echo inside your head as you black out. You wake up, God only knows how much later. As you try to piece together what happened, you hear a familiar voice. The investor. Or whoever the hell he is talking to someone. You suddenly recall snippets, fragmented memories, his sapphire eyes intently locked with yours, his teeth suddenly longer and sharper, and something else. A feeling on your neck that takes you back to your last orgasm, a company trip to Florida, a sweaty room, the cutie from HR who doesn't work here anymore, and then darkness. Yes, I'm done here. Consider my debt paid. The investor pushes the other figure aside and walks away from the lounge, barely bothered to look at you. The door locks behind him. Some time passes before you find the strength to get up from the couch. You touch your lips. Blood. Did that asshole hit you? No. Something else. You try to stand up, but your head is pounding and your stomach is like a heavy knot pulling you down. You didn't have much time to drink. You must have spiked your wine. This is bad. You frantically check your clothes. Pristine. Doesn't make sense. All of a sudden, a feeling hits you unlike anything else you've ever felt before. You fall to the floor, reading in an all-encompassing pain and hunger. The kind that makes your insides burn, that cannot be denied. Okay, let's have the music a bit louder. This works perfectly with the scene. The kind that makes your insides burn, that cannot be denied. You try to calm yourself with a breathing exercise they taught you at some bullshit mindfulness course. That's when it hits you. You're not breathing. And holy shit, Your heart shouldn't be jumping out of your chest with that realization. But it's not moving. Not even a bit. The door unlocks. You hear a startled voice. A young man in a waiter's outfit, his accent thick in an Eastern European harshness, leans over and asks if you are all right. For a brief moment, you wonder what the hell he's doing here. Everything is wrong. Then his smell reaches your nostrils. It's intoxicating. Everything feels right again. He holds out his arm to help you stand up. You grab it firmly with both hands and then you bite down. You sink your teeth right next to the old school pin-up tattoo of Rita Hayworth on his forearm. Takes you a moment to process what you're doing. A part of you wants to break away, but a stronger voice implores you to keep drinking. One thing becomes clear. You are definitely enjoying this. He only struggles a little and quickly falls to his knees. Can see his eyes now, pale blue and confused. You only break yourself to let him go once he collapses onto the floor. Your bite leaves a mess on his forearm. Poor Rita, all blooded, missing half her face. Did you just drink this guy's blood? You spit out a piece of torn flesh. That's why? Where? What was in that fucking wine? Barely able to focus, your heart and your lungs still motionless. You reach for your phone and dial 911. 911, what's your emergency? Okay. What would a woman, still a Ventrue, panicked, just embrace her? Probably she will go like, I can't breathe. Like the most natural. Self-protection will not allow you to say I killed somebody on a 911 call because that's stupid. My heart stopped. I don't know if someone would say it, but I can't breathe. I think that's a rational decision. I'm overthinking for sure. And yeah, I've made a woman character named Carl. I didn't even know I was gonna play a woman, so yeah, it is what it is. I mean, in a way, I knew, but I wasn't sure. So yeah, I'm playing a woman named Carl. I can't breathe. Ma'am, where are you right now? The door to the lounge swings open. The man who enters is not the one that brought you here, though there are similarities. He's tall, for one, broad-shouldered, handsome, dressed in an immaculate suit, but his skin is darker and the look on his face tells you he is not here to negotiate a deal. He notices the smartphone in your hand. Pass me the phone if you want to live. The man's voice is persuasive, calm, but carrying clear threat. He's got the aura of a viciously efficient corporate shark. You find it hard to argue with him. Ma'am, hello? I apologize for wasting your time. My new colleague got drunk and is now trying to impress everyone with her antics. Good night. He disconnects the call and places your phone in his pocket. For whatever reason, you can barely take your eyes off the stranger. As hypnotizing as his presence is, though, it is also highly discomforting. Good evening, miss. I am here to pick you up. Who are you? Yeah, I said that already. I'm your guide through this perilous night. The stranger approaches the waiter and examines his body. Critical condition, but he might live. Anyway, he then sets his sights on you. I know this is all new to you, but I've dealt with hundreds of strays like you, and going by experience, they tend to fall into two categories. First, there are the smart ones who carefully obey my every word and don't try to pull off anything stupid. I always get them where they need to be, safe and sound. And then there are the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on. The wise guys who try to contact me secretly and without permission. The troublemakers who try to run off or make a scene. None of them get to their destination in one piece. In fact, most of them never reach their destination at all. His voice becomes slightly bored and monotone. You can tell he's given this speech before, likely dozens of times. So you see, while I generally consider myself pretty smart, I'm also a Mets fan. It's my one true weakness. One that inspired me to come up with a 3-strike system when dealing with pups like you. If you get on my nerves once or twice, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful situations. But cross me 3 times and you're out. No excuses, no forgiveness, no mercy. As he's talking, he slowly approaches you, adding a bit of a theatrical swagger to his walk. Eventually, he leans in, deliberately invading your personal space. You realize it's a test. He's daring you to do something about it. 3 strikes, and you're out. Say, I understand, sir. Now. Every atom of your being screams for you to obey his authority. I understand, sir. She's smart, she's a Ventrue, she understands authority. Of course, this one has authority over her, therefore she's gonna obey. Stick to that tone and you'll do just fine. Moving on, is there anyone you'd want to inform of your current situation? Tell them you're alright? He flashes his fangs briefly, and for some reason they sight sends a chill down your spine. There is something very wrong about him. Someone closest to you. I'm curious about my boss. My boss, I suppose. The stranger squints at you. Forgive me, but but am I to assume your relationship is more than professional? You immediately give him a piercing glare. No, God no, me and that pig, don't be ridiculous. Ugh. You said he was the closest person to you. You asked me if I have anyone I'd like to tell I'm alright. The answer is yes. People at my office. I don't want to lose my job, so I prefer to let them know I didn't just go off on a bender. No family, no lover, no friends. Your blank stare tells him the whole story. He immediately stops prying and gives you something worse than a look of pity. A look of honest compassion. Well, that makes things simpler, but let me be crystal clear, just in case. From this point on, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up under, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anyone know you're still alive. You are forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes looking for you, it's over for both you and them. That practice tone again. You put on your poker face and listen in silence. So unless you want your boss to end up at the bottom of Hudson, I suggest you cooperate. Don't tempt me. He smiles, revealing his fangs again. There's something absolutely sickening about it. Suddenly, you feel overwhelmed by a sense of exhaustion. You pass out. When you regain your senses, you find yourself in the stranger's arms. The man is holding you as you would a spouse who's had a little too much to drink. You try to break free, but he holds you close and gives you a cautioning look. Only when you cease your struggling does he let you go. Only now do you notice the change in scenery. You find yourself in a fancy lobby next to the elevator. The place is virtually empty, save for a single what the fuck is that word? Hold on. Okay, so it's the place is virtually empty, save for a single concierge and some cleaning staff. Your companion gestures at the concierge as you pass, and he picks up the phone. The elevator arrives, the door opens, and the man motions towards the cabin. After you. I'm gonna scream now. Where are we going? To a safe place. That's all you need to know. Trust me, you don't want to make this difficult. Just get in.